or check on it later. It'll also be in the general curriculum uh, for future reference. So welcome to today's mentorship meeting. We're going to be talking about grammar, and I am the only mentorship member here today. So I'm going to be talking a lot. Let's see. So starting off looking at our agenda for today, just the usual. We're going to start off with introduction, reminders and everything, and then we're going to go into teaching grammar, a sample lesson. We're actually going to do a discussion prompt where you guys are going to be able to type in the chat as the tutors or even as the country directors. And then we're going to end it off with resources before we open up the breakout rooms. So some reminders. This is going to be hopefully more enforced later on by country directors and myself, but tutors, this is a reminder that it is required for you to come to at least one mentorship meeting per month. It's recommended that you come every other meeting just because we'll be showing off new content. This presentation is the same content as last week's. Though I'm kind of on the fence whether to do a third time around just because the attendance has been kind of low, but I don't think I will. I think next week will be a new presentation. And then in the presentation, you can sign up for the APP Masterclass, which it has the details about that in there. And then we also have APP's new magazine that you can apply to work on. There's document with all the role details. And for the most part, the main two categories is you can either be an artist or you can be a helper if you're not as artistically inclined or just choose not to work on that stuff. For tutor policies, as a tutor, you can see pages 10 and beyond of the APP info document, and tutor contract must be turned in or tutoring will be terminated. So this, you guys probably haven't seen in a while. This is just a reminder of the tutor ranks in the point system. So as a tutor, you're like, maybe if you feel that like maybe you shouldn't go to the mentorship meetings, or maybe, I know it's a lot of scheduling conflicts, but if you just don't want to go, you're like, I can look at the presentation later. This is a reminder that if you go to a mentorship meeting, your country director takes your attendance and everything, it equals 1 point. And then there's a million things that contribute to your points, like a student review, and then leveling up on points opens up a bunch of rewards and benefits like scholarships, prizes, Discord roles, and then going to speaker series equals 3 points, though I don't know how often speaker series are really hosted anymore. So that might not be too available. And then these are just the rankings and like their benefits. So bronze is 10 points. You get the bronze tutor Discord role, which the Discord is also not very active. So I don't know how accurate that is anymore. You get 1 entry in giveaways. Silver rank tutor Discord role, 20 points, 2 entries in giveaways, and then gold. Tutor Discord role, certificate, 3 giveaways, Instagrams, shoutouts, and recognition. And also, I think all of this may sound like whatever, roles and giveaways. This is also kind of outdated, I think. And because I'm pretty sure that they have looked into or established other like rewards, including like it says scholarships here. I think they have established some scholarships that you can get through the ranks. And the diamond rank has the best. It's 50 points, Discord role, certificate and giveaway, Yeah, this says scholarships. So Instagram shout outs and recognition, website profile. So that would be on the APP website where, as you probably know, they have a whole page or a couple pages with all of the core team members, and uh that they have like a profile and a photo of them. So that would, you would probably get something similar to that as a diamond rank. Um and so on. There's other rewards as well. Okay. Getting into teaching reading. Just an introduction. Grammar is the whole system and structure of a language or languages in general. It includes parts of speech. Uh, it's kind of worded weirdly. It includes parts of speech. Good grammar is key to effective communications, whereas bad grammar leads to surprising mistakes, and probably when talking to native speakers or other contexts, there's a lot missing, and confusion ensues, and it's very hard to communicate your ideas. Um, its purpose is to build a bridge between what you mean and what the reader or listeners understand. Grammar may seem very complicated, especially if you teach a bunch of different grammar concepts, and then maybe your student struggles to find applications for it in everyday conversation, um, or doesn't fully understand it. Um, uh, let's see. So yeah, this talks about internalized grammar and everything. It's just very hard to especially as sorry. Like it's very hard as a tutor, especially if you're a native English speaker, to kind of associate the grammar that you've learned and apply it to like subjects, because a lot of grammar that's built in to you as a native speaker is just a given. Like you don't know if you're talking in preterite or imperfect or like adjectival clauses. You can't associate with that with any of the words that you use in everyday communication. Um, but uh, because of that, it's good as a tutor to study up on it more, just how to break it down. And then for your student, relate it back to like grammar that they kind of already know, just like hitting home like the purpose behind grammar. Like if you're talking about preterite, say you're talking about things that have happened in the past definitively, and relate it back to like things that they already know, because a lot of time if you just say this is preterite and you give them like the conjugations and the words, they won't really understand it and how to apply it. Okay. Content per frequency level. So novice, student can form simple phrases without a problem. I like water, I agree. And they struggle with forming larger ideas or sentences, structures. Intermediate, student can form simple sentences that are understandable, but it can still contain some grammatical errors. Advanced, student can form full sentences that are completely understandable to other people. They may struggle with holding longer conversations though. Excuse me. A superior, student can talk and converse with another person without any issue. Grammatical errors are barely present. Okay. And then lesson development, develop basic pronunciation skills, progress basic phonetics. Okay. And then utilize different paragraphs to test reading, pronunciation, and speaking skills. I think a lot of this applies more long term. So multiple classes build up this lesson. And then develop stylistic pronunciation, learning and utilizing accents appropriately to communicate. Yeah, okay. And then some strategies and tips, 8 parts of speech, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and articles. So that's more of a subject. So that is something that will be applied throughout all grammar. Homophones. Homophones are words that are pronounced the same way but have different meanings. Sometimes they're spelled identically, sometimes they aren't. So that is another confusing roadblock for a student. Conjugation, the variation of the form of a verb. Yeah, it's just defining it. Conjugate it in the same manner. For example, to have can be conjugated as has, have, and had. And then where has would be like present progressive, have is just present, and then had would be past or preterite. And then adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives describe and identify people and things. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Again, those are going to appear throughout all grammar structures, and they will often vary with each type of grammar. It's the same with verbs and the 8 parts of speech. Okay. So here are some like enriching videos that you can use either in your lessons or on your own just to study up for your lessons and develop some content. So the first one, I think both of these are, I'm sorry, my light is messed up. I think both of these are more videos that you as a tutor will study independently and not like utilize directly in your class. So the first one says teaching English grammar points. So yeah, obviously, I think that one's just a direct tip video for you to watch and like take notes on and everything. And then how to teach grammar. This one helps you a lot more with structuring your class because it's real class footage. And they show you how like real like in classroom teachers teach English grammar to ESL students. So I think that one's really helpful as well. And you'll find a lot of videos like that online as well. So getting into the grammar lesson, section 1, you're going to want to warm up with practice questions in the beginning of class to know what the student is already familiar with regarding grammar. Yeah. And you might even have to do this before your lesson class just to so you can establish like a lesson plan beforehand. So you may have to do this at the end of another class or give them a like a survey as homework to fill out for it. And then section 2, go over the new grammar topic through literary texts and have them learn new tips and strategies for further use. And section 3, independent work time on grammar while applying strategies that have been learned. Let students use examples for assistance. And also with independent work, I don't think I've said this before, but you don't necessarily have to tack it on at the end of your class, because then it might even feel like your class towards the end is kind of useless and you feel like it might even be better to just assign it as homework. What I do with tutoring is I go over a subject and then I either demonstrate it for them, like I ask them, do you want to do a practice like problem or a practice couple of questions, or do you want me to demonstrate some examples? And then I'll have them do a couple practice problems and then present more content, couple practice problems, content, practice problems, so on. So it's kind of integrated more. For practice 1, so This is a free write or speaking activity. Ask your student to write or talk about something they did over the weekend. So a lot of the time you'll use this probably at the beginning of the class, normally, just as a speaking prompt. But of course, you can have this as a more long-term like passage writing. Be patient when correcting the student's grammar. I usually say, like, as they're speaking, if this is a speech activity, write down some notes that they can improve on and then tell them once they're done. And then with writing, you can just like correct it once they give it back to you. Ask them interactive questions to get them to talk more. Again, speech, treat as a normal conversation. Of course, be considerate though with your language usage. If a student's grammar pronunciation is too hard to understand, let them know and correct it or have them repeat it. And then benefits of this practice, it gives the student a chance to practice their speaking and writing skills with an experienced English speaker, yourself. Ultimately builds the student's confidence in conveying ideas to other people using English. Speech is a lovely, lovely thing. Okay. Oh, directive. So, okay, practice 2. This one has to do more with reading passages. So employ different reading passages to test a variety of skills and specifically integrate pronunciation while speaking. Okay, so they can probably sometimes students can have an easy time pronouncing words themselves, yet as the word is placed with others, they tend to struggle. So you can probably have them specifically for pronunciation, you can have them read the passage aloud to you. And then this promotes students to practice saying words like creatures, between, pleasant. These words aren't easily said phonetically, and they can start developing understanding of how vowels and consonants interact. So then they can start developing like that part that can directly relate back to your lesson, and just show the student where a lot of this is applied, like the content is applied. Progress accents by working on the pronunciation of words like room, always, etc. Accents are usually in the vowels of the word, where some may pronounce always, alley was, okay, always was, by accentuating a long sound, but others might produce an O sound. All versus ol. Oh, okay. This is the chat prompt. And I want I want you guys to do this prompt, please. As a tutor, and I have the chat open. It's unlocked for everyone. It's not usually. It is unlocked this time. Okay. What would you do if this has never happened to you before? Or what have you done if your student does not show up for a class? I want you to type in the chat for this. Just so that this is to help both you and other tutors just see like what other people would do in this situation. I'll give you guys a minute or so to type. I know there's not that many of you, so maybe I'll just wait until it slows down. Okay. Ooh. Okay. One person direct messaged me their response, which is fine. But I do think it would you don't have to fix it, but I do think it's better if you share it with everyone so the other teachers, the tutors can benefit. Um, let's see. I was gonna explain something. Let me read it for a second. These are nice. Mhm. Okay, good. Yeah. I think it's always good to first reach out directly to the student, especially if it's not like a huge issue just yet. Um Obviously if they're a younger student, it might be better just to reach out directly to their parents. Um just to see where they are, especially if the parent doesn't know that they're missing the class, that's also an issue. Um let me think. Yeah, and um reach out directly to their preferred method of communication. Um, and I think it's good to regularly remind them that there is going to be a class soon and to send them the links to the class. Because in my experience, a lot of the time, if you don't post announcements for something, um, people won't show up, even if it's established, oh, the class is every Tuesday. Um, they will either forget or they're like, oh, they didn't post an announcement, so I'm not really sure if there's something going on. And obviously, since your guys is online, it's also good, I think, to post the link every time. Um, just because a lot of time people will be like, I don't know where the link is, even if it's like readily available. It's good just to post it every time, like with your announcement, or if you're messaging them directly, whichever method that you're using to communicate with them. Um, and then obviously if it gets to a point where your tutor hasn't been showing up at all, like for a very long time and it hasn't been responding to you, you're probably going to have to contact like talk to your country director about it and probably get a new student to work with. Um because if they're not responding and if they're not showing up, there's not really much you can do with that. But yeah, contact is great. Um so let's see. Oh, and the person who private messaged me also said um you could also send them a worksheet if they just forgot and missed the class, just so that they can review the skills on the worksheet next time they see them, which I think is also really good. I think you would ideally do that if they text you back like, oh, I'm sorry, like I forgot about it, or I had something come up and I forgot to message you about it. um, I think that would be the best case scenario where you would give them like a worksheet so they can practice the skills just to keep their brain fresh. Okay. And then um additional grammar and resources. So assigning homework. Games are a great way to learn any of the English topics. There are games for almost any subject that are a great way to keep students engaged. Um, some websites you can use include ABCYA, Diary, excuse me, education.com, softschools.com, BrainPop, Shepherd Software, etc. YouTube videos are an easy way to introduce topics and explain the concepts concisely with graphics as well. Um, and you can also assign worksheets to practice what has been learned in class. And again, with especially with worksheets, I think it's a great thing to also post an answer key alongside with the worksheets, just so that they can check it on their own and come into class with questions. um I mean, it really depends on the way you structure your class, but I think it's just good. Like if you think about in school, if you are given a worksheet for like your science class and you have no answer key, it can be really frustrating. Um, so yeah, just do it depends on the way you structure your class, but that's my advice. And then these are the resources I have. So activities, there's worksheets by grade level, activities on page 6. That's like more like obviously not worksheets, they're more like game-based activities, I think, to apply stuff. Worksheets per frequency level, worksheets again. So learning English grammar. So that one has some like curriculum stuff in it as well, because it has lessons along with activities. Um, and then the last one is classroom grammar activities. So pretty obvious what it entails. For content and info, subject verb agreement, tense, aspects which describe the nature of an action, 8 parts of speech, which, like we said, very important, very key in grammar, linking verbs, there's some tips for teaching elementary grammar, and then basics of grammar, which is a video. And then finally, some curriculum, lesson plan stuff, possible lessons, high level sample curriculum, basics of English curriculum, a grammar curriculum, lesson plans, again, more grammar. It has lessons, activities, and content. So very cool, very versatile link. And then finally, the basics of English grammar, which is from Talk English. And yeah, that's it. And also, before I open the breakout rooms, we have this. I need to work on the design of this. It still looks kind of weird, but this is some general resources at the end of the presentation with all of the mentorship teams' contact info, which is also in the general curriculum. If you ever need it, it's everywhere. And then APP resources, PVSA log, their website, general info document, and then the general curriculum, which is very important for tutors. And that's it.